Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Talking Cryptocurrency podcast. I'm your host, Jason Rigden. On this episode of the show, we are talking to Gabriele Giancola, CEO of Qiibee. Qiibee is putting loyalty programs on the blockchain. But first, we've got this quick message. Do you know what the most important thing in the world is? It's more important than family, love, and work. It's more important than money, God, and country. You probably already know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Twitter followers. The number of followers you have on Twitter directly correlates to your fundamental value as a human being. There really is nothing more important to me than the number of Twitter followers that I have. Please help me feel like I have value by following me on Twitter. The links to my profiles are in the show notes. Please follow me. Please help me find meaning in my life. Without the validation of strangers, I have no idea how to value myself. So please follow me on Twitter. My personal account is Mr. Rigden on Twitter, and the show is Talk Crypto Show on Twitter. The links are in the show notes. Please do your part to make me happy and give me a follow. Hello, and in today's episode, we're here with Gabriele Giancola of Qiibee. How are you today?
I'm great, Jason. Thank you very much for having me here.
Oh, yes, of course. So can you tell me a little bit about the problem you're trying to solve?
Sure. So there are actually, let's say, two main challenges which we see. And they come from one from the loyalty market and one from the blockchain and crypto space. And let me start with the first one. I mean, we all know it. You have lots of loyalty programs. You don't really use them. You don't really know what is happening with those points. And you also don't really get what the value of those points really is. And that leads to a lot of different challenges for the brands that you don't use the loyalty program. They have financial difficulties then because, of course, you cost much more as a user because you don't produce that much, but they spend the same amount of money for marketing. So it has different negative effects for the brand. And we see that the solution is pretty easy. Just give the users more value. It's really super easy. In one way, they give them more value because if they use our loyalty token protocol, they don't have anymore a point which they're giving to the customer, but they're really giving a token which has a value, or let's say has a value in kind of a secondary market. And that leads to a completely different dynamic because we also saw that in a survey that users prefer to, when it's about low amount of, let's say, of reward that you get. So we asked the question, hey, if you get that $10 and if you get the lottery tickets worth $10, which one would you choose? I think 70 or 80% of the people answered that they want to have the lottery ticket because $10 is not changing their life. But of course, a lottery ticket, if they win, it changes their life. And if you multiply that by, let's say, the whole community thing that you have, that all your friends or a lot of your friends are choosing the lottery ticket, and one of them really wins, and you have chosen the $10, it's like you don't belong then to the group. Let's call it like that. So it gives a lot of a completely different dynamic for the users, and we see there a huge value because you have that part of let's say of loyalty on the blockchain, and also the other part is really that we're enabling the brands to, since they're building all on the same foundation, that users then can exchange those points for each other, or those tokenized points. And the idea behind that is really that you just get more out of all those points, because if you go to Starbucks and I go to Subway, and then I pass by a Starbucks and you a Subway, and we would like to have one of their products, it makes sense. And if in that moment we can just exchange the tokens for each other and get whatever we want. So there we see a lot of value that you can bring to a user, which solves a lot of different problems from a huge market. Because if you think about how many people have a loyalty program and how many billions are behind those, trillions are actually behind those, the revenue power of those loyalty programs, it's crazy. So that's actually bringing us back to the second problem that we solve. That is, let's say, being a crucial driver, I think, in the blockchain and crypto space to push market adoption, because it's so important that we move forward. And we think that tapping into loyalty programs and, let's say, getting into brands and talking to companies and getting into retail customers can really bring forward the whole mass adoption and can bring crypto and blockchain to so many more people. I think those are the two, let's say, challenges or problems that we're solving.
So how are you solving this problem? Is it going to be like an app or a website, or do I put like a number in?
No, it's one side for the whole, let's say, B2B part, business to business part. It's really the protocol, which you can access through the SDK and API. So you have, let's say, the whole tech infrastructure part. And on the user side, you have, like you said, an app where you have the overview of all the tokens that you earn. And you also have the possibility to exchange them for each other. Now you have to imagine every brand has their own loyalty program with their own interface. The only thing that we're providing with our wallet is really just an overview and the exchange part.
Okay, so instead of having like a whole, like right now I've got like in my wallet like 2 cards for 2 different grocery stores, probably 2 coffee shops. I could just have this be like one app.
You still will have the, because you have to understand it's like, and that is not something that we will solve because it's just in the nature of brands. They want to have the relationship to you. They want to have the relationship to you as a customer. So they want to have their interface with you. But on the other side, we can help in really giving you as a user the possibility to have an overview at least. Because right now, where do you get your overview of all your points? You don't have that because making that with central database would mean tapping into different databases and trying to store all that in another central database. And that is something that is nearly impossible. That's also why blockchain technology is the perfect solution for the whole ecosystem. You have that trust, you have the technology where you don't have to trust anybody. You just trust the smart contracts and the blockchain itself, and the whole ecosystem works. And you don't need to build a network of, let's say, central databases.
Okay, and then were these? I think I gathered that those points can be kind of transferred. So it's kind of like maybe that sandwich card where I only have 3 stamps.
Yeah, right. That will be possible. Let's say that I have, I don't know, 6 stamps. You have 3, and you need my 6. We could, for example, if you have 3 stamp cards and you're missing a few, and I'm missing some let's say some tokenized points to get a certain product, then we could just exchange those for each other, and you would have all the stamps you need, and I would have all the points I need. Now there is also the other possibility that I'm a good friend of yours, and because I really like you, I'll give you all my stamps, and you just get the whatever product you want. So there are different possibilities how you can get to what you want, and that's also the, let's say, the value that you get out of it.
And are these tokens on an established blockchain, or are you making a new one?
So right now, the idea is following. We're building everything on Ethereum. So we have, say, a hybrid chain approach, a public and private chain. The thing is following that right now, everything is open. So there are so many established blockchains, which are, yes, established, but not mature. Let's call it like that. So we need to wait and see how is that development going on. And on the other side, of course, we don't want to, let's say, block us with just what is already going on, but we're also thinking about the other option, building a known blockchain, though it is really still an open question, because and that might be another approach that a lot of other startups are taking. What we're saying is, what we are working on right now is getting our technology to as many companies and as many brands as possible, and to talk with them to build a huge network of brands. Because before you even can talk about what is the underlying technology, from our point of view, you also need to know who is like using your technology and who is using your product, and then you can make much better decisions on also the underlying technology, than if you let's say if you build the whole underlying technology from the beginning, and then you have to, let's say, change a lot just because you get into distribution part. That doesn't mean that is true for all projects. If I look at Ethereum, they did the right thing with having a first version and having the possibility to start working on it, and then looking where let's say the distribution part goes. In our goal, since we know we're talking to companies and we have a pretty clear focus on what we want to achieve, we want to really think also first about the distribution part, and then what underlying technology we can use. Because the hybrid chain approach is working perfectly right now. Of course, you can enhance the degree of decentralization. That is also the goal. But it's not that we have, let's say, operationally problems.
And so how have the brands reacted to this when you've been coming to them with this service?
So we have following approach. What we do is we work with marketing agencies together. So they have actually the relationship to brands. They know exactly what time does which brand wants what marketing activity, and also how much budget do they have. So for us, it is much easier because if we, let's take the classic sales approach. We sit down, take the phone in our hand, and just call them through and look with who we're getting a meeting. You don't get to the right person. Until you get to the right person, it's a huge hassle, because if you call the headquarters and you tell them, hey, we're doing loyalty on the blockchain, it's not that the assistant or whoever knows what you're actually doing and who she should refer you to. So it will be a huge hassle from our side. And we see that it is a huge potential to take over the sales part for the marketing agencies, because that is actually their job. They have different marketing products and they want to sell them to their customers, which are the brands. So we have a really good, let's say, symbiosis between us, so that we work really good together. And they have approached different brands. We have different marketing agencies and associations working with us, and they all say, we can really say they love the product. I mean, we have also, I think we're one of the few startups really bringing something on the market before we even have started the crowd sale. We had a campaign with the second largest cold coffee producer from Switzerland, Latesso, which was done now for a few months in 7 countries. And there you went into the store, you did like your groceries, or you went at the station, the train station, you had like your coffee, and you were into the crypto space just by buying a coffee. And that is, I think, one of the like the craziest thing, because we're talking about setting up a wallet on one side, which, to be honest, I still need to explain to a lot of people how you set up a MyEther wallet. On the other side, you can just walk into a store, get your coffee, go on a homepage, input a code, and then you get your Latesso coins, the loyalty tokens built on our technology. And you have your crypto coin for the first time. You didn't have to do the whole KYC stuff. You didn't have to research, should I go on Binance? What are the transaction fees there? Is maybe Huobi better? So all that stuff that a retail users and mass adopters don't know, I think there we have a huge advantage. And that is what brands really like, because if you can move masses, that is a big power.
And so the system is operational right now?
Yeah. You can download the Qiibee wallet. You already see the first 2 brands that we already have communicated, and Latesso is already. So if I would send you a screenshot of my Qiibee wallet, you would see my 125 Latesso coins or something like that, which I collected through drinking a lot of coffees. And yeah, of course, believe me, I went every day. When I was in Switzerland, at least, or in Europe, at least, I went to the store to buy some Latessos. So it's awesome, really. I think that is one of the coolest use cases to start with.
And what have been some of the challenges of developing this project?
So the challenges, I would say, mostly on I would say mostly on a product and technological side, because since we discussed before, the whole tech part is not very mature. So we're not. It's not like you take WordPress and you just use WordPress and it works. You know what I mean? So we're far away from that point, and of course you need to invest a lot of resources into the tech part, because you need to understand which options do you have, what is coming in future, what you have right now. You have a lot of community discussion, so you need to be aware of that part. I would say it's a lot more resources investing in that part, in say the blockchain tech part, than if you would have a traditional, say, tech business.
So what are some of your plans for the future going forward?
So the plans going forward is, let's say in this year, it's really all about finishing now our token sale. That is, in the next few weeks, it's the most important part. Besides, of course, talking to more brands, doing more workshops with them, having really moving them towards closing stage. And we're going to communicate also a few cool news in the next few weeks. Getting more marketing agencies on board. So that's really the goal, to push that part as much as possible, so that we can roll out as many new loyalty programs on the blockchain, and get the user base really to the moon, how we like to say in the crypto space.
So you do have an ICO coming up fairly soon?
Yeah, we have. It starts on the 24th of September. We just communicated that a few days ago, and now really excited to get that one going. The community is excited. A lot of messages that we're getting of people that now are finally able to see a date and then having the possibility to invest. Yeah, because you need, like, in these kind of markets, you need a bit more time, and also if you want to create a lot of substance behind your business, that just needs time. If you want to close a brand, it's not like let's say, they don't have the same speed as a startup. Let's say it like this. So it's cool to be able to show a lot of substance and seeing such a supportive community.
Well, it's a really interesting project. I really like the idea of bringing crypto to the average person. They don't have to do all the work of the full wallets and all that stuff. Is there anything that I should have asked you that maybe I missed?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered pretty much the most important parts. I'm pretty satisfied with the interview.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much, Jason. It was really a pleasure talking to you and being here on the show.
Thanks, Gabriel, for coming on the show. If you want to know more about Qiibee, check the show notes. I've got all the links right down there. You've been listening to the Talking Cryptocurrency podcast. My name is Jason Rigden, and I have been your host. Thanks for listening to the show. If you liked it, would you please consider giving us a rating and review on iTunes? I look forward to talking to you again soon. Have a great day.